Hi, and welcome to this week's Black Mental Health is Black Health. I'm your host, Bronwyn, the Black Couch Therapist. And tonight we're going to talk about managing emotional needs as the school year begins. But we're going to look not just at students, but parents and staff have some emotional needs that we'll get to near the end because they're all important. So, you know what we do? We start off with those deep breaths, those deep cleansing breaths that allow us to think, get more oxygen in our brain, and get ready for this. So let's get started. I will count you in to four very slowly because I want you to breathe very slowly. Breathe in, two, three, four, out, two, three, four. In, two, three, four, out, two, three, four. One more. In, two, three, four, out, two, three, four. Just that woosah, that time to take a few deep breaths to remind you that you got this. Whatever this is, you got it. You can do it. Breathe your way through. Well, as I said, today we're going to be talking about anxiety, depression, students, school, all these mental emotions that really can't come up. So we're going to address them today. Um, when people think about kids, they're like, well, they don't have any real problems. Some people still believe that. They're just a child. I want to go back to the carefree time when I was a child. Well, if you had a carefree childhood, and I did, be thankful that you did, but know that not everyone had one, even when you were a child. And the same is true now. Not every child's childhood is filled with glee and playing, and children actually are dealing with mental health issues, just like adults. When I did research, I found that the greatest two things that children deal with are anxiety and depression in that order. 19% of children ages 2 to 8 have mental health issues. Let that soak in a minute. 19% of children 2 to 8? Yes, someone that young. And it's really about the same across the board all the way up to 17 because ages 12 to 17, we're seeing about 20.3% of children having mental health issues. So that's a lot. One in five children, basically 17 and under, may be dealing with some type of mental illness. That's a lot. Now, between 2016 and 23, the overall number of children dealing with mental illness has grown 35%. That's a lot. But also included in that was during that time of COVID. And that escalated everyone's anxiety and depression. Well, when I say everyone, I mean across the age group. So, with that being said, let's jump into this and talk about just those two and what it's like for children and what do you need to know. Well, for adults, this is a scary world. If you turn on the news, you see all this stuff going on. It's a lot. And you're like, man, how do I manage all just watching the news? It makes you not want to watch it all because there's so much going on. There's war, there's ICE, there's are they going to take away this benefit? So you just look at the political landscape. Here in Texas, we're dealing with gerrymandering. There's so many things that are going on. That's just scary. Well, for children, and then we're going to divide this between children and then youth. So like the elementary and then secondary. So I wanted to look at, those are some of the just general scary things that adults deal with. But yeah, children deal with depression as well. And you're like, yeah, again, children who experience violence in the home, violence in their community, children who may be dealing with home insecurity, children who have medical issues. Imagine being the little child who's diabetic and everybody's having snacks and you can't have that snack. You can't have that second cupcake that everyone else can have because that's not going to really be good for you. And they make a special snack for you just to make you feel good, but your special snack isn't what everybody else has. Or children dealing with cancer, or being the sibling of a child with cancer. Cancer is a disease that doesn't just impact the patient, it impacts the patient's family. So, or you could be the child of a parent with cancer. So, illnesses, your own family member's illness, can be that source of depression. Even kids who have certain food allergies and it restricts the fun foods or things that everybody else can have and you can't. Yeah, just something that simple. Genetics is another thing, and family history that can impact your mental health. What's going on in the family? Is there a history of depression in the family? Things like that. Stressful life. Like, you're a child. How is your life stressful? Imagine living in a household where they're dealing with separation and divorce, and this is an ugly divorce, and parents are fighting, and they can say, well, we don't fight in front of the children. You may not fight in front of the children, argue in front of the children, but you look at each other, or you just pass things to each other, and your tone, your face, your body language all says, I don't like you. Well, the children see that, and that can cause stress. And then they don't know what's going on because you're not being honest with them. You're just being mean to each other. That unknown, that can also be a sense of a reason for them to be depressed. Moving, divorce, having to deal with bullying and their own trauma and abuse. Um, there's a lot I want to get through, so I'm going to go on. But what does it look like? Depression doesn't look the same in children as it does in adults. In children, one of the things you're going to see is acting out behavior and aggressive behavior. But think of it this way: when they're dealing with depressed things that are causing you to be depressed, there's so much under. What does that anger look like? They could be angry because they're nervous, they're afraid, they're just disgusted, they're unsure. Maybe they're feeling grief. All these things that can cause a depressed mood can cause you to be angry because I don't have the words to say what I'm feeling. I don't even know what I'm feeling. So I have all of this wrapped up inside of me, and I'm just angry, or I'm just lashing out because I feel it inside and I don't know what to do with it. With family, with friends, feeling worthless and fixated on their failures and not their successes. Have just gotten an A on the test they studied hard for, and yeah, but I'm not doing good in math. Can't even accept, when something is good. And they may be a little more sensitive to rejection or failure or thinking it's going to come. So these are some of the things that it looks like. At this age, they may begin to engage in alcohol or drugs, or just be socially isolated. Poor hygiene, not even caring about how they look or smell. And man, you get in high school, you want to be cool and all of that. Don't care. You can see some self-harm behavior, even in younger children. Uh, Depression doesn't always lead to suicide, suicidal thoughts, or a plan, but it can. So that's just a picture of what it looks like for a teen or a child to be depressed. What about anxiety? I'm just going to give you a picture of it. And we're going to talk about some solutions, but I want to give you a picture of it so you know what to look for. Now, there is a difference between stress and anxiety. Stress is more situational. Anxiety is more internal and pervasive. So stress could be, there's an external trigger. I've got this test coming up, and I don't know what, I got this big project. Oh, it's time to fill out college applications, or it's time to fill out. So now, hopefully, I gave you a picture of what a young child, all from people between the ages of 5 to 17 are experiencing anxiety or depression. It does impact females more than males. However, I think part of that may be, even in young children, we allow for females to be more emotional and admit they have a problem. Just like it's easier for women to go to therapy than men, it's easier for women to say I'm depressed and it is a man, it could be the same there. And remember that angry and aggression and acting out, it can be a symptom of anxiety and depression. So if a girl is angry and acting out and being aggressive, that's a problem. If it's a boy, he's just being a boy. So there may be some internal bias even in how we see it. That it's more acceptable again for the girl to admit she has a mental health problem than a male. And that part is just this little part is opinion. But I think when we look at statistics, and we make statistics can say what they say, but maybe there we have to look at what's underneath. And so maybe it's just that just the way males are viewed in society may make it even more difficult for them, even at early ages, to be seen as someone who has a mental health issue, or even it's just not accepted as much. What about, so now what do we do? As I said, start off with seek, if it's a problem, seek professional help, just like you would if it was an issue with physical health. Mental health is health. Health is health. Mental health and physical health are the same coin, different sides. If you deal with one, you got to deal with it. There are counselors at your school, possibly you could start with. Go to your pediatrician. Make sure there are no health issues going on. As I said earlier, there are some health issues that might lead to it. And there are certain health issues that might cause a person to feel that way. If they're having heart palpitations, but if there's something going on with their heart, it's not a panic attack. So yes, find out, make sure, are they healthy? Then you can teach some of the same things that happen and help for adults can help with children. The deep breathing. We start this session off every week with deep breathing. That can work with children as well. Um, I've had young children, okay, it's time to go breathe. We got to go breathe. I'm mad. That's great when they can think of that too, to say, I'm mad. I'm going to breathe. Okay. And calm them down and they breathe. They're grounding exercises. These are designed to allow you to just be connected with where you are in the moment, such as the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, when we have 5 things you can see, 4 things you can smell, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can smell, and then 1 thing you can taste. I forgot number 4, but there are 5 senses. But it allows you just to take your senses, and you can look it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding exercise. But it allows you just to be centered. It also allows you to focus in that moment. Meditation is good. Just like, how am I going to get a child to meditate? I can't sit still myself. Meditation doesn't have to mean just clearing your mind and sitting there, but being able to stop, center, and focus and breathe. Yoga. Avoiding caffeine in beverages. You'd be surprised how many, when you get to middle school and high school, how much energy drinks and caffeine. Those are not going to help. Avoiding sugary things. Sugar is addictive. Sugar has so many negative things it does to our mind as well as our body. And so overall, having a healthy diet. Think about when and you just don't eat right and you're feeling kind of yucky. Well, that yucky feeling is not going to help with anxiety or depression either. Journaling, drawing, writing, being creative, listening to calming music, all of these can have an impact in the moment. But I will say, if it's to the point where it's a major problem, seek help. In the few minutes I have left, I want to talk about parents in school. Parents are experiencing anxiety. Oh my gosh, right here in the DFW area, a student athlete died this week. He was on the practice field. They went inside, and this young man died of a heart attack. High schooler. Parents are can be anxious about sending their kids to school because of school shootings. That's real. We've had so many since the first major shooting at Columbine. I don't even want to look at the number again at how many there have been, how many there are in a year, because they don't all make the news. So that can be a reason of anxiety. Being a parent, and what do I do with this? Just the parents, their own anxiety, not even related to the student. Job insecurity, I've talked to so many people recently who've been laid off, some who were expecting it, some who weren't. You go into work and you're there and you're ready to work. Oh, we're gonna have a meeting. Oh, don't start. You don't even have to turn on your computer. Come on, and you go back and you have no computer to turn on because you've already been locked out of everything. You're gone and you're walked out of your job. So that can have you worrying. Just the economy right now for some people. If you were already living from paycheck check to paycheck and things went up, but the paycheck stayed the same, felt like the paycheck went down. So that. So some of those same things I said about the children, those are good for adults, including seeking professional help, taking time for yourself, being able to say it's too much, and understanding that. And within the family context, being able to talk to your children openly and honestly about their emotions, not something we do. Well, we never talked about that when I was a child. Okay, didn't make it right. Not, and your parents were only operating on what they knew. So often in our homes growing up, that wasn't something we talked about. Emotion, really? What? We didn't. And so you don't know how to talk about them because it wasn't a part of who you were and what you did. But being able to talk and say, real conversations about your children and their anxiety, and being able to say, sometimes I get worried too. And you don't have to share deep worries with young children to give them something to worry about, but let them know, sometimes I understand. What are you worried about? Or you can share maybe your worries as a child. Yeah, I used to think that too when I was a kid. I didn't like it when XYZ happened. So being able to have those open and honest conversations about what it looks like. Oh, wow. The same techniques you want to teach them that I say can help you, practice it together. Maybe we're going to do deep breathing every day. I work with one family. One of the things they did, that's how they started dinner time. They had a young child. Because it was just the anxiety and just getting things calming down. And so everybody, before they ate dinner, they did some few deep breaths, bless their food, and they eat dinner. And it became a part of who they were. And the young child was able to understand, oh, we need to breathe, and understood that when I'm angry, I can breathe and I may feel better. And the feel better comes in because you're putting more oxygen in your brain, oxygen flowing your body. And also even though it's a few seconds that you take, but from the breathing, from the anger, it puts a few seconds in between there and it disconnects that moment. So even a young child can figure it out, but it's something you can do together. The grounding exercise and the meditation, maybe you can sit together and we're just going to sit quiet for one whole minute if you're doing this with young children. And you can set a timer, close your eyes. We're not going to open our eyes until it says ding. And when it dings, you can open your eyes. That could be the start of a meditation activity with young children, just being able to be quiet for 1 minute. It can seem like the longest minute for you as well as for them. But something simple. And then you can research meditation activities for children and do them together. Yoga. Yoga has amazing benefits. Okay, I am not the yoga person. My younger sister was a yoga instructor. I understand the benefits that it has on mind, body, and soul. I'm just not good at it. But there also is something you can do as a family, do together. Again, if you're eating healthy, your children are eating healthy, physically you're going to feel better. And physically feeling better can help the emotions as well. On the creative side, do something together. Creativity taps into your right brain. We're talking about school. So much of school taps into our left brain. If you have a job that's really analytical, you're not using that creative side. So it can be beneficial to you. So what could that look like? We're going to, what if we just play with Play-Doh together with young children? I know that's old school, but there are benefits to just sitting in there. What can we create? Building Legos, doing things together. That togetherness and community is also good for your mental health, for yours and your child, when you can do that. Well, we don't have time. We got all this going on. I'm working, and I understand some people's work schedules won't allow it, but can you carve out 10 minutes in a month? I'm not even saying every week. Can you carve out 10 minutes each month to do something with your family together? That sounds crazy to some, that I'm saying something that seems so minimum, but maybe your schedule is just that hectic. But can you carve out some time to make that happen? So, because it can be so extremely beneficial. Uh, the last area I want to quickly hit is school personnel. Now, I worked in public education for almost 20 years, and I will tell you, it can be stressful. It was stressful then. It's even more stressful now. There's so many changes. I taught when you had more autonomy in the classroom and you could really teach. And I'm not saying they aren't really teaching. I mean, you had the autonomy to teach, and it helped your students improve. And it was a much less stressful. It was stressful. I still took work home. I still took papers home to grade. I still did this, but it is so stressful. And not only that, they have to deal with parents. Sometimes dealing with you is stressful because parents come in and they're making demands, and my child wouldn't do that, and this, and makes it very stressful for the teacher, for the office personnel. We think about the teacher. What about the person at the front desk who you come in with an attitude and they're just doing their job? Ma'am, you can't go back into the classroom right now. Or, I will bring the student up here for you. We'll have them come up here. And just attitudes. It's a rough job. So I encourage the same tools that I say work for children, work for parents. They can work for doing that for the school personnel. But I think as parents, understanding that we should give our school personnel respect and understanding. They're there with your child. You're leaving your child in the hands of someone you want to treat poorly. Think about it. Probably not the best and most wise thing to do. Being able to support your school staff. And the reason I say staff, not just teachers, like I said, it's the custodian, it's the front desk personnel, it's the cafeteria personnel. Anyone who has anything to do with your child, treat them with respect. Teach your children to respect them. It's also teaching your children that everyone deserves respect. The respect that you want to have, you need to give. So be gentle, be loving, be kind, be caring, be compassionate to the school personnel. They face a lot. What teachers have to go through on the side, just on the administrative side, dealing with all of the things they have to do. Then they have to deal with so often parents who are not receptive. And then they have your child. Some children are great to deal with, others because of, as we said, maybe it's a child who's dealing with anxiety or depression and they have this acting out behavior. And as a teacher, hopefully you can now begin to say, let me see what's behind that behavior. But at the same time, you still have that child who's acting out and you have 20 plus other kids you have to deal with. Just imagine you've got 5 kids out of 20 who are acting out. And maybe it's because of, and you have one who is just basically cowering in the corner. They're the anxious child who's just afraid of their shadow. And you have someone else who's acting out. You have all of this in one room and you have to deal with it. You have to think about their emotional and mental health needs while you're trying to teach them. So be that parent who's supportive. Maybe be the parent who wants to volunteer and go in and help, because what's going on is not beneficial. Well, tonight was all about managing emotional needs as the school year begins. And why, as the school year begins, you want to start off strong, you want to end strong. I gave you some things to consider that might be signs of anxiety and depression in children. If you're a parent, look for these in your school. Consider what may be going on at home that may be playing into their anxiety and depression. Home may be fine, but school itself may be playing into their anxiety and depression. Is it a bully? Is it something else going on? Be sensitive to your child's emotional needs. They're real. For yourself as a parent, be sensitive and take care of your own emotional needs. Be open with your children. I don't mean tell them everything, but let them know that sometimes you worry and sometimes you're sad and that we're going to get through this together. And you're going to say even that on an age appropriate level. If you're a school personnel, take care of your mental health. Seek professional help when it's needed for anyone at any age, at any time. Well, I'm Miss B, the Black Couch Therapist. I am here to help you become a better you. So hopefully you'll consider these mental health tips to make this a great school year for you, your children, your niece, your nephew, your neighbor, somebody's here. Share this information with any parent who may have a child who they're just thinking about their mental health, which is a great thing to do.